Hello and welcome to another edition of the Molten Truth. As you know, I am your host, Zoey Michaels. I am a fan of music, and this season is largely about music, as well as my other guests who write books and have their businesses. But we just love the music scene, so that's what we're focusing on this season. Tonight, joining us is Chris Eveland from, I think you said you were from Canada, but
Yeah,
you've
close
been
to Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay, very nice. Well, it's nice meeting you this evening. We look forward to hearing a little bit about your journey. It sounds like you got off to an early start. We'd love to hear about that.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely. So it's when I was younger, one Christmas I got a Walkman. No, it was my birthday. Sorry, it was. I say Christmas because I'm looking around. There's trees. There's decorations everywhere. It's probably on the mind. But yeah, so for my birthday, I got a Walkman. And then my grandfather went out and bought the number one. He just went in and said, "What's the number one selling album?" It was 1986, and it was 5150 from Van Halen. So the first album that Sammy Hagar was singing on, and I always joke, but if you look at the other top 10, the other top nine for the top 10 that year, it could have went a totally different direction, right?
Well, yeah,
So
I mean, there was a lot of really great music that year. 85, 86 had some phenomenal musicians to choose from.
huge hits. But
Yeah,
the actual genre could have I could have ended up a keyboard player or something. There was a lot of pop and a lot of stuff going on there. But I'm happy it was Van Halen, and that was the only cassette I had, so I'd play it back and forth. And I just got very, very energized in the middle of the song when I heard those guitar solos and super excited. And come to find out it was a guitar. So I started lessons at 14, and I haven't put it down since. It's still a huge passion of mine. And I just love picking it up on a daily. And yeah, very passionate
amazing.
about music.
That is amazing. So you had said something about, I think, working with a grandparent and taking apart pianos or something when we were
Yeah.
kind of just
So
shooting the breeze a little bit ago.
I'm very young. I My grandfather was a piano tuner, and a great player, like amazing player. But he would have like a bunch of pianos throughout his house, some uprights and a baby grand or whatever, and they're all torn apart. So seeing the inside mechanics of a piano, seeing all the hammers and lifting them up, looking in, but then he would have his glasses on and like pulling them out and watching him tune it. That was all very, very interesting. But the part that hit me the most is when he was done, he would just sit there, and all of a sudden, out of this big wooden box came a flurry of notes that, again, I heard it and I got goosebumps, and it just hit me different than anything else did, right? Like a TV show or watching cartoons. When I was witness to him playing that piano and his enjoyment of it, I became very passionate about music. I think, like looking back, that's definitely where it
Absolutely.
started.
I would say
Yeah.
it was in your blood. It was just, you were surrounded by it.
Yeah. And there's some cool pictures. I'm sitting on his lap. I think you wouldn't see it now. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and his grandson underneath his lap, right? Um,
Yes, very
but
different
just sitting there,
times.
yeah, different times for sure. But I just remember seeing the picture. My eyes were just like, just doing that. And I'd always look forward to go visiting them because I get to tinker on a few different ones, right? There was one in the hallway when you got there. So you could take your shoes off and hit a few notes. You'd go to a studio, play another one, come out to the living room, and there was one set up there. So there was always, you know, always music at that house.
Yeah, I get that. It's kind of, I know some people will maybe think it's a sign of progress that you don't see a piano in houses as much anymore because you have the digital items that, replaced it. But, like I'd go to my grandparents' house and there was a piano. In our case, it was just, one of those stand up piano. It wasn't anything fancy, but, you know, it was a given that when we went to grandma's house that we would have a chance to tinker on the piano. Didn't matter if we were good or not. We thought we were
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's right.
But, it was just part of normal life back then. And
Yeah, it would.
unfortunately, I didn't have the talent that you obviously have, but still the enjoyment was there.
Yeah, and that's what music is, right? If you enjoy it and do it. But I mean, it would break my heart. Granddad hasn't been with us for quite a while now, but if he went on Kijiji and saw all these free pianos just come pick it up, I mean, I
Mm,
know what his house would look like.
yeah,
It would just be full of pianos. But yeah, you see so many now. People have a hard time getting rid of some, right? But
right.
yeah,
Yeah. It's just if only there was a way to make them where they were dual purpose, where they could be still in people's homes, used for maybe for one thing, but still have that original enjoyment from them. I'm gonna be
yeah,
sleeping thinking about this tonight when I'm trying to sleep.
yeah.
I can see
And
it now.
I I had an upright in my previous house. We just recently moved, but in my waiting room outside of my studio,
Mhm.
if I was teaching in there, and then my student's sibling was in the room, or someone, whatever, you'd hear them. They would just tinkle on, like it was almost like a natural thing. Like, oh, there's a piano. I'm gonna, and you encourage that, because then it's
Yeah.
sparking a different part of the brain, right? They're
Well,
like, oh, I
right.
just made that sound. What happens if I do this? And then when they start piecing stuff together, that's how it all kind of starts, right?
Well, and that's just it. When we ignore musical education, that music is also connected to things like math and science, and it's also interconnected. And it's such a loss of an opportunity if you don't harness that.
I agree. Very well said. And once you get to a level of conviction or confidence in playing, it's the purest form of meditation I've ever experienced. So when you get going, I'll put on a backing track and then just start noodling over top, like playing licks or soloing, improvising over top of a backing track. And when I do that, I'll say, I'm going to do this for 5 minutes, then I'll go do whatever. I'll look up, it's been 40 minutes. I don't know where the time went, but I'm just in the moment and feeling it, right? And that's
Yes.
nothing beats that.
Well, especially because you're truly living in that moment. You're not just vegetating watching someone else live on a television set. Because how many of us spend hours doing that? And we're just sitting there watching someone else live and we're enjoying it. But what have we really done and what has engaged in our mind? You actually spent that 40 minutes engaged in something that took you somewhere else.
Yeah, and I grew up. I was born in '75, so a lot of my friends growing up in high school had, I can't name them all, but like Sega or like the earlier PlayStations, Nintendo. I never
Hmm.
had any of those. I really didn't.
Yeah.
And I'd had a guitar and I'd fall asleep with that thing. But when I went to someone's house, they said, "Let's all play." I was the worst one there at video games because I had zero time in it. But then
Hmm.
if I passed a guitar to them, they'd be like, "I don't know how." I've got a few students. The one, it was funny, a couple years ago, he had about 3 or 4 months in, and his younger fella, but he got very frustrated because he couldn't play a Metallica song. And I'm like, well, you've been playing 3 or 4 months, and Metallica's kind of tricky at that stage. And I said, can I ask you something? Do you play video games? He goes, oh yeah, I love them. I was, that's perfect, man. And you love guitar? He goes, I love guitar. I said, how much do you play? How many hours a week do you play in video games? And I could see a big smile on his face. It's like, it's okay. This is a safe place. Tell me. He goes, at least 30 hours. I'm like, how many hours do you practice guitar? He says, well, usually 20 minutes before my lesson. I'm like, okay, man. So if it's 30 hours, break that. Still play your video games, but do 15 of that. Play 15 hours of guitar. I promise you, you'll be playing Metallica very, very quickly. Right? It's a whole mindset. It's just a shift of like, I played with someone on stage in my late 20s, and I went up to him. I said, oh my gosh, man, like you blew my mind tonight. Can I ask you how many years have you been playing? And he just smiled and he goes, it's not about the years, man. It's about the hours. And I play all the time. And I'm like, ever since then, it's not like, oh, that guy's been playing for 10 years or that person's been playing for 12. It's like, if you play all the time, your efforts become validated, right?
Absolutely. Can you
Yeah.
imagine what the world would be like if we didn't have someone like Eric Clapton, who obviously spent many, many hours practicing before he ever got to the point where he became Eric Clapton?
Yeah. Right.
We'd be poorer
Right. And it's
for it.
just not, yeah. Some people are always natural. I'm like, there's
Hmm.
probably natural ability in some, but I mean, it's those hours. It's that
Hmm.
getting all that time in, and then you
Exactly.
start hearing it. Mhm.
Yeah, natural ability only takes you so far. The rest of that really is discipline and practice. Taking that natural ability, harnessing it. And speaking
Yeah.
of doing that, I know we've I've let us go off on this road, and for me that's pure enjoyment. But we need to get back kind of on what was Chris Eveland's story. And so tell us a little bit. You're touring at this point in time, or tell us about your journey at this point in time, or what's led up to where you are now.
Yeah, so music's always been a part of my whole life. I started playing in pubs and bars probably when I was 17, like before I was legal age.
Uh-huh.
I did a talent show to high school, and the bar owner down the street came in, and it was Eddie's in St. Thomas, and he used to have these bigger bands come in and play there all the time. So we would get opening slots, and that's when I got a chance to open up for some of these Canadian bands that were going through, and just seeing those guys come in and how they did it, that got inspiring. So I always played live. I did the cover band stuff for a lot of years, and then I've done the original band. I've jumped in a van, I've traveled, I've done all that stuff. And then the tribute started probably early 2000, playing with some tribute bands and seeing the kind of numbers and the people coming out, what we call soft seats, right? Like theaters and bigger shows. That was just, it's a great feeling to show up, because you can go play at a pub or a bar or something like that, and some people really enjoy it. Other people don't even know there's live music there, So you can have those nights, and it's fine. It's all part of it. But when you're at a theater, they're all facing you. They paid tickets to see that certain act, and if you're paying tribute to someone that a band that they grew up on or loved, you want to represent it in the best way you possibly can. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It got busy there with Aaron Walpole when he got third place on Canadian Idols. So we had a lot of incredible shows with him that came through. And then just recently, I'm involved in an ABBA tribute. It's a 10-piece band with some incredible people, incredible musicians that are involved with this. And it travels over North America. We do West Coast, East Coast Canada. We've done upstate New York. We're looking at Pennsylvania. We're just starting to branch in. We've got our visas now, so we can travel more in the States and
Good.
actually work there. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's called SOS, the ABBA Experience.
I
And
like
the
it.
fun part about that show is it's definitely not a very, it's just the widest age spectrum we've played for. So there's a 5-year-old there singing the lyrics and dancing. And then there's a 95-year-old there
Oh.
dancing too. And it is because of the Mamma Mia movies, because
Hmm.
of, yeah, right? Like it's just kind of still, I know some ABBA tributes that have been playing since the early 90s, and they're still doing it full time.
Yeah.
And we just came into the scene maybe 5 or 6 years ago with this one. And you'll look online, there's all these ABBA tributes, and they're just doing great. Like the seats are full, the people are there, it's always smiles. At the end of the night, the people say the sweetest things about how that music makes them feel.
Absolutely. Well, it's great music, and it always was. But the Mamma Mia movies breathed new life into it, and there was even that movie. Was it Eurovision that was on Netflix that also kind of breathed new life into it?
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, little wonder you've got younger age group that's like, wow, this is great music. It's just that
Yeah,
they got to be exposed to it in a way that drew them in.
absolutely. And it's one of those guilty pleasures, right? Like, and my favorite is like if a couple comes out and I'll talk to the husband and be like, yeah, I didn't really want to come, but the wife brought me out. But then right after, like, but you know what? I had a great time. You guys you did a great job, and it felt good. Love the energy. So I like it when people are like, kind of, yeah, I'm here, but I'm not, I wasn't
Yeah.
dying to be here. But then they turn around at the end and go, hey, like, I'd like to come see this again, or tell people, because it's fun. It's very infectious. It's the energy is just unbelievable at these shows.
Well, and again, it goes back to starting out with a great music, a great sound to begin with. You have a wonderful canvas to work with. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and that's one of the things we've just started to recently. We play "Thank You for the Music" at the end of the night, and Kevin, who plays Benny, is Kevin Wright. He starts to say, hey, this is we just want to give thanks back that we're able to do this stuff because of how well these songs were written. It's just kind of a tip of the hat, like,
Yeah.
thank you for the music. Even though we're playing their song, we're thanking them
Right.
for the music. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I believe it. So, any kind of crazy or fun experiences to share along all these mini trips along the road? I would
Like
imagine
road
there's some.
stories. Yeah, there's a
We know
lot
they're
of
out
road.
there.
Yeah, it's different these days. You know what? Like at sound check now, everybody's having a coffee. Backstage is more about back back pain cream. You know what I mean? It's just different than it was back in the day. Like uh, right now, no, I'll keep the stories kind of like when we're traveling. It's going to different cities. Like we just got back from the west coast of Canada, and when you have a day off or 2 days off or whatever, my wife went on the trip. She's a part of the band and does a lot of the logistics and things for us. So we would go whale watching, and then we go have a beautiful dinner in Victoria, BC, and just be like, what has happened? Those weren't things that we did back in the day because it was very with schedules and people's work. It was very drive in, set up, play the gig, tear down, go to the hotel, or keep driving, go to the next place, set up, tear down. So when people are like, "Oh, I heard you just went across Canada," I was like, "Well, I saw the van, and I saw a hotel room, and I
Right.
saw the stage." And I think it's being done very, very well now. With, we'll play a show or two in a row, and then we take a day or two off for travel in between. But then you get a chance to explore the city, explore the province, state, wherever we are. We just did Shays Theater in Buffalo, New York. I think it was a 3,000 or 3,500 seater theater there. And man, it was just awesome getting there a day before and hanging out, And I've always done the falls on the Canadian side, never done it on the state side.
Yeah.
Just checking out the city and seeing what it's all about. It's enjoyable these days.
Absolutely.
It's
I've
not
always
so.
heard the Canadian side's prettier, by the way. I don't think that the United States side is supposed to be as pretty as Canada's side. Maybe
I'm
you
going to say they're both
differently.
pretty because you're from the. Yeah, I think it's worth checking out both sides and making that decision. It's still a beautiful view. But yeah, I think we did luck out a little bit on the
Yeah.
northern side there. Just yeah,
Yeah. Or maybe it's a case of the grass is always greener.
could be, could be. I think they're both beautiful views though.
But it's nice that they're viewing it differently instead of back to back travel. It's nice that they're taking the time to let you explore and enjoy being in that area. That's a very smart way to do that, I think.
Yeah, and I think some of these theaters too, they're generating, like as far as income goes, if there's a good number of seats in the theater, that allows that to happen, right? I think our first time going out in the East Coast, we were doing 200 to 300 seats, for some of the places, and even though that's generating an income, it's kind of like, okay, let's get back into another one, because when there's 10 people in the band, but then there's two or three that come out like sound,
Hmm.
um, and everything, right? So the expense being on the road is there too,
Well,
with
yes,
10 hotels
absolutely.
and feeding and all that stuff. So I think it's at a place now where it's really good and it's growing. It seems to be, just organically going at a very nice pace this way. So it's good.
That is very good. Yes. Yeah, that does make a difference too. The ability to actually afford to be able to stay and enjoy really is impacted by how much audience you're drawing, and also the area you're in, how many people can reasonably make the show, the expense of the area. I would assume Boston would be a great place to play. However, it's so expensive to be in Boston. I don't know how long a band could actually be there, but
We're going to New York here in a couple of weeks with my daughter, and I can't believe the cost. Like New York, and my daughter's
oh
never been. She's 21, right? So she's excited to see Times Square and all that stuff.
yeah,
Holy, talk about expensive. That's a pricey
ka-ching,
city.
ka-ching, ka-ching. Yeah, yeah. The only way I was able to afford New York the times that I've been have been through family connections. Um,
Okay.
Otherwise, it was just like no. It was a day trip and then go outside the city and let's go someplace reasonably affordable, but New York
Yeah.
proper without connections, it's expensive.
Yeah. It's crazy expensive.
Yeah. But it's definitely something I think everyone should have that experience, even if it's just a day trip. It's New York
Yeah.
should be seen.
She wants us to go to Rockefeller, see the tree,
Hmm. Yeah,
do all that fun stuff. So
yeah,
perfect
yeah,
time of year to go.
absolutely. Definitely recommend the Met, but again, that's something time. That's it's about having the time to enjoy it. But
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe future trips. So, other than the ABBA band experience that you're doing now, what other bands and tributes or have you been involved in?
Yeah, so over the years, there's been a lot of different original bands, tributes over the years. But currently, right now, I'm in a band called Fireball as well, which is just it's kind of a tribute to all girl country. And I'm not a country guitar slinger at all, and my bandmates will be the first to let everyone else know that too. But it's a good group of people. We have Kelly Latimer singing lead, who's amazing. John Wilberforce on bass, who's phenomenal, and Shane Presley's on drums. And every one of those people is involved with the ABBA band as well. Shane's our full-time sound man. He might be our drummer down the road. Um, John's our bass player, and Kelly's one of the singers. So we decided to get together and just put together this country act, and it's gone over very, very well. It's something I'm looking forward to playing more of. We've only done a couple shows, and it's just ramping up. But I think this year, next year, 2026, we're gonna have more shows with them. So that's a lot of fun. And then I do an acoustic duo with John as well, just called Fire. We just do local pubs and stuff like that. Do It's fun. It's nothing rehearsed. We're just two guys with acoustics, and you call out a band and we'll play it. Name a song. If we don't know it, we'll try it. We just have fun, keep it loose.
I like that.
Yeah,
That sounds really great.
yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And John's a fun guy to play with. He's a jokester for sure, but he's a very talented guy. So, I played with people in the past, like, hey, can you play whatever? Bruce Springsteen? You're like, no, I don't know that story, and that's the end of it. Where John's like, yeah, sure, what song? And whatever it is, he'll be, it's not going to be perfect, but you
Oh, but
find
he'll
out,
take a stab at it.
and people appreciate that, right? Like, they don't expect it. Can you play a Prince song for me? Or
Yeah.
where you're in Cincinnati right now? Yeah.
Yep, yep.
I
No,
was trying to think of music.
I can't think of anyone famous from Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something from Cincinnati. I can't do. I thought, but you mentioned, yeah, or
Yeah.
Chicago. You said you were in Chicago for a
Yeah,
bit. So if
I'm
someone said,
originally from Chicago area, so I
Buddy Guy,
yeah.
if someone said, "Can you play me?" So, oh, sorry about the noise back there. Um,
Okay.
if someone said, "Play some Buddy Guy for me," if he didn't know it, he'd kind of think about it, and then just,
Mm,
people respect that. Like, thanks so much for trying, right?
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
that's just it. Just give it a shot. And if you honestly can't, well, then you honestly can't. But yeah, at least
yeah,
give it a second, give it a moment. You just never
yeah,
know.
yeah. He's pretty good with that stuff. So yeah, we have fun. Everything I'm involved with now is it has to be with people that are, just on the same level or at least enjoyable. And that's one of the coolest things about the SOS is, in the original auditions, it was half an hour of music that you auditioned for, and then a half hour of couch time, just to see if the personalities were good, right? I have played
Yeah.
with people in the past before that were extremely talented, but
Hmm.
definitely not someone that you want to start a barbecue with and sit there and enjoy, you know. And it's not to knock anything; it's just life's too short to be around anything like that anymore. It's just not necessary.
Well, it
And
takes
I've been very
something enjoyable and makes it feel more like work. And it's already work, but work should have some element of enjoyment. It should not feel like drudgery.
Yeah, and you don't want to play with someone that's up there and that's saying something on the microphone. You're going, "Oh my gosh, what did they just?" You know what I mean? So you
Yes.
want to you want to connect, and people pick up on the connection on stage. So if you're vibing and you have a natural
Mm-hmm.
the flow going back and forth, people pick up on that. And they feed off of it too, right?
Absolutely. Well, and it makes for a memorable show. I'll never
Yeah.
forget. I'm 20 something years old in Dallas. Happened to be at South Fork Ranch for an Alison Krauss concert. And she's
Oh,
talking to the
nice.
audience. She's just kind of chatting with us, and the guys behind her start kind of as a joke, start doing the da 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 da, just kind of having fun, goofing off, and she knows it, and maybe it was planned, maybe it wasn't, doesn't matter, but it just made for a memorable evening. As she's like, "Hey guys, knock it off, stop that,"
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was just
Brings a
those
sense
things
of
are
real.
memorable.
Yeah, it brings a sense of realism to the show too, right? It's
Mhm.
not so, you know, um, like rehearsed. No, I shouldn't say rehearsed, but so just stock, like we're doing this, then this, then this, then this, then this. You have to be alive too and breathe and let people feel it.
Exactly. A little bit of ad-libbing never hurt anyone.
You got it. Yeah. Keep it fresh.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with my thoughts there, but anyway. But
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
ad-libbing's good. Sorry, I just had this like memory of purposely heckling a fellow performer once, but it was all in good fun and good jest, but just
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see that going over though in that type of setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Kenny G going out and heckling Prince wouldn't really
Yeah.
work
No. Yeah. Not the best idea.
back in the day.
Yeah.
So when you are in the audience, who like if you were going to be going to a concert right now, who would you want to be in the audience and go see if you were going to go say next week to a concert?
Yeah. Well, I am going next week. I do have a concert. Yeah, we got tickets to go see Brad Paisley. Again,
Oh, nice.
I'm not a country guy, but he's in Ottawa, so we're going with a couple of friends.
Well, he's a
But if
fun
it was,
character.
I love his interviews, and he's a crazy, crazy good guitar player. I've really gotten into him and Keith Urban recently as players as I've been diving down this country playing.
Yep.
But as far as like players that I go see, I love Dream Theater. I'm a huge fan of those guys. Wolfgang Van Halen, just
Okay.
because his dad inspired me so much. It's great to go see him play
Yeah.
and perform. Dirty Honey's been a great one. I like those guys. They opened
Mhm.
up, I think, for Woofy a few years ago, and they were great. But I do like the instrumental guitar stuff, right? So if Steve Vai, Joe Satriani's on tour, Guthrie Govan, Andy Wood, not your household names,
Well, and that's
but definitely
okay.
the guitar player. Those are the guys that I enjoy listening to people play stuff that I can't play because that motivates me. And that's what Eddie always was like. How did he do that?
Right.
Nothing against AC/DC,
Mhm.
great stuff, amazing stuff, well written stuff. But once you get to a level of playing that you've been playing for a while, most AC/DC songs are obtainable, right? Not that everybody wants a song that's unattainable as a guitar player, but when you do hear a guy like Mateus Asado, and when you hear him play the guitar, you're like, I don't even know how he's doing it. Where you hear a new AC/DC album, you're like, oh, I can tell what chord that is and where it is, and it's not saying it's easy. It's just a little bit
It's
more
something.
attainable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
You
some
could
of these people,
pick it out, and you could figure out how to imitate it more so than maybe some others.
very much so, and it's not taking away how good it is. It's great stuff. But then I have buddies like my buddy Steve from I'm in a band with him called Soundstorm as well. He'll send me these clips of all these kids, 5, 6 years old, on Instagram playing guitar upside down, backwards, better than any of us at this stage of the game. And I don't even, that boggles my mind, but that's always inspiring to see that too.
So the new talent coming up, and yeah, what they
Yeah,
can imagine, what we would never even think to do, what they would come up with.
it's unbelievable. Or songs that I'm still trying to play. Like there's kids out there, Eric Johnson, if you're from Texas, Eric Johnson trying to play Cliffs of Dover. There's a 5-year-old out there ripping the intro to that. And I'm just scratching my head.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I look at natural talent. I, I'm gonna, there was a point in time, again, early 20s, because that's the age I think we try so many new things when we're that young. And I was taking guitar lessons, and
Ah,
my little brother came for a visit, picked up my guitar. He'd never touched a guitar in his life. Started fiddling with it. That boy had natural talent, and he just started doing naturally what I had been trying to figure out for weeks. And I was just like, yep, okay. So he went on, and he actually made his own music and did things, and had formed his own band years later.
okay.
And of course, have I done anything more with the guitar? No. I went on and did other things.
Yeah, yeah. There's still time.
Well, you never know about the future, but yeah,
Yeah,
I looked at that and said, okay, well, that's your talent and that's not my talent, but rock and roll, little brother.
yeah. That's kind of like the Eddie and Alex Van Halen story. I don't know if you know that, but
I don't.
Eddie had drums. He bought drums and Alex bought a guitar, but Alex had a paper route or something that he had. So every time he'd go out and every time he would go out to deliver papers to pay for this guitar, Eddie would play the guitar. And then he
Oh,
would get back home and he would put it away and he wasn't. So very quickly, Alex would come home and see what Eddie was doing on the guitar. He goes, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to play your drums because I can't do what you're doing already." Right. So
yeah.
it's kind of imagine if that switched, right? It never would have been. But
That is interesting. That's a good story. That's very good. So, do you write any music? Have you written any songs?
yes, yeah. So I am on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. I just started, like, I've done a lot of studio work over the years. But as far as my own stuff, just started that when I moved this way. I met a guy named Randy Orr, great guy. He owns Powder Room Studios in Brockville, Ontario. And I decided to start with, I was doing lessons, I was changing careers. So I wanted to write something that wasn't like too technical, but at least had a little bit of guitar flavor, no singing on it, but just something to kind of showcase, melody, showcase a level of playing. So I reached out, and he introduced me to Gary Lalonde, who's the bass player from Honeymoon Suite, and he's in Brockville, Ontario. So we connected and got along. He's one of the nicest guys in rock and roll. But I mustered up the courage to ask him if he would be interested at all in playing bass on the track, and he said yes, and he did a beautiful job with it. So I reached out to another guy, if you know Big Wreck, Ian Thornley and Big Wreck. I reached out to Forrest Williams, who's the drummer there, and then he said yes too. And I'm like shaking my head, what's going on? So I got Forrest playing drums and Gary Lond on bass, and I wrote this original piece of music called Within, um, and released that. And that was just to get students, put something out there, just have something. It's not about the spins on Spotify or generating income, but it's kind of like an online resume. So if somebody says, well, can you play? Especially bands too, right? Like, well, what do you sound like? Just check out my stuff. It's a great way for them to do it on their own time.
Yeah.
And then I wrote some other songs, released them as well. And then with my best friend back home, John Millis, we're under the name Rail City Route. We've had some original songs that have been kicking around for a while. So we finally recorded those and released those. So we've got a couple online, just starting the process. Always looking forward to recording the next one or writing the next one. But there is original music out there for sure.
Very cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
if a person wanted to like go see Chris Eveland perform in any one of the bands that you're affiliated with, do you have a website?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Facebook now. It's Chris Eveland Music.
Okay.
You can check out on Facebook. That shows all the shows, all the bands that I'm in. My link tree is there. So Spotify is just Chris Eveland. That's for all the music, but that's the best place. And if anyone wants lessons online, I have students all over, West Coast, East Coast. Anyone's interested in that, there's a link there for that too. And yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, I'm trying to think of some additional questions, and I'm kind of running out of questions. So that's not necessarily a bad thing because we're right about the time frame where
Okay.
my our show, usually starts wrapping up around this time. But
Okay.
is there anything you specifically want to share with our audience? Anything that I've overlooked to ask?
No, I just think these podcasts are great. I started doing them maybe 2 years ago, and it really helps artists with, it's not all about the streams, but when people do go check it out, especially in Cincinnati, if a couple people click on it and do that, it starts this algorithm, so it really helps with live music.
Yeah.
And then somebody might see these podcasts and reach out, say, hey, there's a great theater here that does tributes, and it's just I find it to be a really nice networking thing. But I appreciate everyone that's doing these podcasts and supporting live music, supporting musicians and authors and people in the film industry, all those kind of things that need a little extra advertising and promotion a little bit, right? So appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I have to see just on a personal note that if you guys, came with this SOS thing here in Cincinnati, I would find a way to attend. I would be very interested
Oh
in
yeah,
going to one of your concerts. So if you ever show up in the Cincinnati area, I'm I hope you'll drop me a line.
We'll put you on the guest list. I think the closest thing we have to you coming up is Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. How close is that to you?
Not anywhere close.
Not even
Not
close
close.
yet. Eh? Okay. All
Not
right. I'll
close
let you know
enough.
when we get
To say,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you get in my neck of the woods, or if you get to Northwest Indiana, where my original stomping grounds are, near like the Holiday Star Theater and oh goodness, Crown Point, not Crown Point. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, near South Lake, Indiana. Then I might
Okay.
go visit family up there for that one.
All right. Cool. Well, I'll definitely, anytime we're around there, I'll remember and I'll send you a message.
Maryville, Indiana. Oh my goodness, I haven't been home
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
recently. I need to go back home and visit. When you start forgetting the names of towns where you grew up, it's time to go home.
Yeah. It's time to go back for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're to a point where it's the random question of the evening time. So the guest who came before you left this question: if you were meant to
Okay.
be a tree, what kind of tree would you be, and why? I told you it was
Um,
random.
yeah. Well, my favorite tree is a weeping willow, but weeping sounds sad, right? I don't know, but
You know.
I would say weeping willow because I love it. The big, strong trunks. They're beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the only reason. I can't
I
think of
don't fault
another.
that at all. We should rename them.
Yeah.
They should not be weeping willows. They should be
Yeah.
anything but a weeping willow. Because I don't know about you, but we had a lot of those in Northwest Indiana. I mean, we had one in my
Okay.
backyard. They were the most fun things to swing from those limbs. I mean, they were better than having a swing set. You would jump on one of those limbs and swing across the yard.
And the amount of shade that they can, like, they're so wide and like they're beautiful if they're,
Yeah,
yeah, well kept.
it's like a built-in tent. It's like having a fort in your backyard without having to build the fort.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
It's a fort tree.
I love it.
So why would that be your favorite, or why would you be a weeping willow if you were meant to be a tree? Why would you choose to be a weeping willow?
Maybe just because some people find beauty in that, and maybe they would spend some time underneath me, just hanging out and what I don't know. I spent a lot of time. There was a park back home in St. Thomas that had a beautiful weeping willow, and every time we went to that, it was Waterworks Park, I think it was called. It was just this massive trunk, so almost every wedding had pictures there, and it was just kind of like a famous tree there. So I always saw the beauty in that thing. So I guess that's why I would choose it.
It's as good a reason as any. I like it. It works.
Yeah.
Hey, so then, have you had some time to put some thought into a question you would leave for our next guest?
Um, I'll just go on the way. What did I? Yeah, just because it's something I did in the past, and it's always good, I think, for people who might be stuck with stuff or whatever. But just maybe if you could change your profession or however you earn money, like whatever you do to do that, if you could change that and choose anything, what would it be?
That's an
Because
excellent
I did that,
question.
and it's yeah.
If you could change your profession or how you earn money to do anything,
What would you
what would
choose?
it be?
Yeah,
What would you choose? Yeah. Yeah, because you
and then
mentioned
part
earlier.
two,
Oh, there's
why
a part
not do
two?
that?
Go for it.
No, I'm just saying you could, like as a part two. Once they answer, say, why not do that? What's
Yeah.
holding you back?
Why not? What's holding you? Well, why not? Let's do that. They don't have to answer it out loud, but we can still ask the question. Because you
Yeah,
mentioned this before we started recording that you had actually done that. You changed careers. Um,
I did.
so we have enough time that if you want to share that with our audience, why not?
Yeah, yeah, sure. I worked at Ford Motor Company, so I was just an assembly guy, just in the factory. I, I was in St. Thomas. I think I had about 15 or 16 years in, and then it was right around 2008 when everything kind of shifted there and changed in the world. They announced they were going to close our plant. So a lot of people took the buyout and they left, but the few of us that hung on and waited, there was another plant in Oakville, which is close to Toronto. but that's about a 2 hour commute. But some of us took that on because we'd keep our pension hours, right? So our pension years. So having 16 years in somewhere, knowing you only had 14 left to full retirement, so let's do this.
Yeah.
But man, it was driving 2 hours to work a 10 hour or 12 hour shift, drive 2 hours back, not be with your family, not be any, like it was just, we talked about being on the road. Like this is, you wake up, you get in the car, you go to the factory, you're in the factory, get in the car, go home, go to bed, wake
It's
up, repeat.
torture.
And it was almost 5 years, and it was 6, 7, a lot of unhealthy things happen in those environments and everything. And it just wasn't, um, I really tip my hat to the guys that can just, the people that can just get up, go do that, be content all day at work, just happy to be there, go home happy and still, but it was a tough place to be, especially if you're, you want to travel, you want to tour, you want to do stuff, you want to get home and be awake to see the family and everything. So it just ended up, I got to about 21 years. And I met a girl in Brockville who's now my wife, and we spent some time together, and we tried to do the long distance thing, and I was not happy at Ford, and she was in real estate, and I saw, her schedule was kind of free and loose, and she could do, and she worked hard, but definitely had the freedom to, yeah, next Thursday I can go do that. Where I was like, I work every day from like before the sun comes up to after the sun goes down or whatever. It's still grateful to have that job, but anyways, it worked out that we just started spending more time together, and she was unable. We were going to do week on, week off, and try to make all that stuff. Try to make the distance because it's about 5 hours away, Oakville from Brockville. So it just came to the point of, I just made a decision. I'm going to leave. I moved up here, which was a tough choice, a scary choice. It wasn't tough, but it was scary. But then my son from my previous marriage, he moved in with me right away. At this, he's been with me for 6 years now, and um, Melissa and I have been together 7 years. So it's just something. It was extremely scary leaving a job that paid well with a pension, with benefits, and all that stuff that a lot of people hope to
Yeah.
get these days. But leaving it, and I'm in real estate now, so I'm a realtor as well. I got my license during COVID. But
Okay.
I teach guitar, I travel, I play, I do all that. And my schedule's, it's as busy as I want it to be, but it's also, I get to see the sunrise and I get to see the sun go down, which is pretty
Absolutely.
special.
Quality
Yeah.
of life. It makes all
Yeah,
the
that's it.
difference.
That's it. And getting out of the mindset is like, I can't leave. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Absolutely. Well, see, and that's a very good story, and it's inspirational for others, as we ask that question, what would you choose to do and why not make that change? You are that inspirational story of, look, this was that situation. I was in this rock and a hard place, but I chose this path and I'm happier for it. That's
10
sometimes
times
people need to
happier.
hear that.
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent note to leave this interview on. So,
Amazing.
yes.
Amazing. Yeah.
I'm glad you joined us. Stick around after the recording. I have some things to tell you, but let's go ahead and we'll stop the recording. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Zoe. I appreciate it.